And we are live on the air. Good morning. Welcome, Dennis. I'm sure we're going to have quite a few viewers. We've got a lot of people signed up, but as you know, it's always a little complicated finding the Hangout. The biggest challenge there is.
It's kind of like a scavenger hunt.
There is.
Shopping at Costco.
Yeah, exactly. Except we don't have any snacks. So let's start off by just letting everybody know who we are. I'm Eric David Greenspan. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of schoolofbookkeeping.com. I work with the illustrious Seth David, who you probably know from his infamous, or he doesn't like when I use the term infamous, I need to use famous, Friday morning hangouts, where he talks about accounting, bookkeeping, and all kinds of cool technology. I've jumped in here and started Thursday morning hangouts, where we're talking about accounting practice marketing. We have the lovely Gina Rodkey with us today, who is going to be the first recipient of a Not Seth David t-shirt soon. They're in production, I promise.
Yay, yay.
How are you?
Good. Am I talking like Mickey Mouse?
No, only Dennis
Yay.
Hey, you know, while we're waiting for everybody to join, show me how to create one of those cool frames.
You have to have the right software. It came with my cam.
Okay, so I have to create an image first and then upload it as a wrap.
I'm not sure. When I bought my Logitech cam, it said, "Do you want to install this?" And I said yes.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. When we do our hangout together about how to do a Google Hangout, we'll start with that because I think that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we've got quite a few viewers that have already started to join, so I think we can go ahead and get started. This is recorded. Once again, I'm Eric David Greenspan from schoolofbookkeeping.com, and today we're going to be talking about email campaigns. The official title is "To Spam or Not to Spam," and we're really not going to be talking about the value of spamming as it is. It'll really be more along the lines of how to use email campaigns effectively, build a great list, and set up automation. I'm not necessarily going to demo anything today. I'm going to try something different and try to just stay on the screen and talk with you all and answer your questions so that we can just really get into the heart of how to take advantage of email campaigns. And the first thing I want to say is that while social media is a remarkable tool, at the end of the day, the #1 converter of customers, at least from my perspective, is email. And I've talked a lot about our hub strategy through my other company, 74 Marketing, and what we like to do there is we like to create a lot of content, use social media and videos to bring it all back to the website where we can capture your email address. And let's talk about that right now. So let me ask you two that are live with me, and for the viewers out there, do you use and how do you feel about the pop-up that sometimes appears at a website?
What do you mean, the pop-up that appears at a website?
Pop-up that says, "Give me your email address," and then you can continue.
I look at that as whoever's website I'm on, how interested am I? If I'm just curious and I'm browsing around, I'm not answering that, and I'm not putting that information in there. Or if I do, I have an email that I use specifically for spam that I don't get except for to clean out. So I do use it if I'm very interested. I don't use it if I'm not that interested.
So let me ask you this before I ask you, Dennis. Gina, continue on. Do you use the technology yourself on your website to gather email addresses?
No, I do not.
You don't?
Well, I do have a contact me where you can enter your email address and you can get on my mailing list. Yes, I do have that technology.
Okay.
But it's not as a pop-up.
Okay. How about you, Dennis?
Well, I first want to say the challenge right now for accountants, and it may be one reason why these webinars aren't, attended as much as we'd like, is that accountants are really busy and at this time of the year, and the challenge is that for self-employed, you always have to be marketing, even if you're swamped. I mean, otherwise it's kind of like going from drowning to being worshipped on a desert island with no water. I mean, it's just kind of like your roller coaster, and so you want to try to smooth things out by having a steady flow of prospects. But it's really a challenge right now this time of year for accountants to be marketing. I know on my website it's through CPA Site Solutions, and it's got a newsletter where people can sign up, but I've been very passive about it. I haven't really, even checked to see who's signed up, if anybody. Occasionally, if someone calls me, I'll offer to put them on the mailing list. But I'm not sure how well a tax newsletter works for clients, because that's kind of why they're hiring me. They're not necessarily really interested in the details of different tax laws and that kind of thing. So
well, let's actually talk about that. Hi, Linda. Hi. Let's go ahead and talk about that, Dennis. The type of content that you would utilize if, in fact, you were creating a list and sending emails to your customers, your clients, as you call them, wouldn't necessarily be how to solve their own problems with the type of work that you would do for them, right. But it might bring them awareness to some of the benefits that you can provide them and your knowledge, so that they understand two things. And the first thing that pops to my head is, as we move towards becoming a trusted advisor in this community, as tools become easier and easier to use, and people can log into a QBO or a Xero and do their bookkeeping on their own, so to speak, which is still far away, there's more and more that the accounting pros can do to become that trusted advisor. So maybe tipping your hat to what it is you're actually able to provide them is going to keep them engaged longer, retention, and also provide you with an opportunity to sell additional services that would be mutually beneficial.
Right. I think you have to, if a client does not perceive they have a pain point, nothing's going to happen. And so I think you have to kind of figure out what are the particular pain points that you can be solving for them, and giving them information, maybe not enough for them to solve themselves, but that's kind of the balance you run, is that you don't want to give them the whole answer, but you want to give them enough information to realize that you are knowledgeable and that you can offer a solution based on your experience.
So let me ask you then, Dennis, give me, as your potential client, I run a business, does 6 figures in income, let's say, and I mostly provide services. I'm a marketing guy. Let's not talk about me related to School of Bookkeeping. Let's talk about me, the marketer. So to speak, my company, 74 Marketing, is hired by School of Bookkeeping exclusively.
Okay.
I don't take any other clients, really, every once in a while. Stacy, I know you're on here. I just saw you, so I'll talk to you on Saturday. But in any event, so what would you tell me that might get me to spend 3 hours of time with you to help me benefit my business? And think about that in terms of what I would want to get kind of tipped off to in an email as a result of signing up on your pop-up form, giving you my email address and saying, hey, keep me in the loop, Dennis. I want to learn this stuff. What's changing that I need to be aware of that I'm willing to give you money for to help me figure out, or improve?
Well, my challenge is that a large part of my business is tax work, and it kind of crowds out a lot of the other things I offer, like Xero and QBO. And
that's fine. Go ahead and talk to me from. Obviously, I have to file taxes. I have a CPA.
Well,
talk to me about some benefits that I might be able to.
For example, this year I'm also in another marketing group that meets in a couple hours online, and the whole thrust of that group is that you need to become a specialist, and you need to develop a niche, and you need to be able to dominate that market with your knowledge. And so, for example, one thing, a hot topic with us right now is the ACA, and how people are not fully understanding it, including a lot of accountants. And it's kind of, there's a lot of gotchas that sort of drop out of the ceiling. And so I guess if I would be marketing heavily, I would probably be emphasizing helping you with the ACA and things you need to be aware of, especially for small businesses for tax year 2015. the requirements for being able to create a 1095-A is going to be horrendous for some of these small clients, and they're not even aware of it yet. You know, in terms of.
Let me tell you. I'm going to talk to you about something that I saw on ABO the other day. ABO is Accountants, Bookkeepers, and Business Owners.
Right.
The most awesome group on Facebook, as we all know.
Yeah,
and there was a superb series of questions about. It's kind of started off where somebody was talking about somebody owes me money and they won't send me a 1099, and our argument was, well, why didn't you get a retainer? Why didn't you get an engagement letter? Why didn't you get the 1099 signed first? Yada yada yada. So for people that are kind of getting started in business, either from your perspective or from mine, we need to know those types of things, right? We need to know that if we're going to secure a new client, we need some sort of contract. We need to get, if we're going to be 1099ing them, we need to get them to complete a form ahead of time so we can get their EIN or their Social Security number, correct?
Yeah, you don't pay them before you get before you get a social and EIN.
Well, I mean, you see, to you that seems just, obvious. But there's a lot of business owners out there, particularly in the startup world, who wouldn't think about that, and they learn by making that mistake. So if you were to send me an email that said, hey, Eric, here's 10 things you need to make sure you do so the following things don't happen,
right?
I would respond, and I would be very impressed with you as my tax professional, as my accountant, so on and so forth. So the point of this discussion is that we're trying to find things. We're talking about real-world ideas here and issues where we can actually use email to inform our clients in the accounting practice, which it's a little different. Go ahead.
It's a lot different, Eric. It's a lot different, and accounting issues are way different than most other businesses because people do not want to deal with them until they have to. And that's the big problem that we're trying to overcome.
And also the problem with the, like QuickBooks in particular, they market it as you don't really need to get an accountant. I mean, that's been the, if you watch like a QBO ad, you wouldn't, I mean, it's like you press a button, Shazam, you get financial statements. There's no, there's no, I mean, their marketing is basically writing checks that their technology and their infrastructure can't cash. I mean, it's like you get all these,
And let me just say something to that, Dennis. You should say thank you to them because, in my opinion, if that's the case and people are wildly signing up for QBO and Xero and Sage 1 and so on and so forth, there's a pretty good chance that ProAdvisor thing you pay money for each month is going to lead you to that particular customer. That's how I think it happens. And Linda, you're shaking your head. Am I right?
Yes.
Excellent. See, you knew that as soon as you spoke, it was going to zoom in on you, so you went your hair. You have hangout-itis. I get it. This hangout.
Go ahead, Linda.
One of the things that I've been in business now 17 years, and I enjoy most setting up brand new data files rather than having to deal with all the messes people have. I'm very good at dealing with the messes, and I make a lot of money that way because it takes hours, weeks almost with some of the people. But I finally said to him, it's probably not worth the time and the money to clean this up. Why don't we start fresh? And I try to get people in December. There's a guy I may later today, right after this appointment, set him up new this year because he doesn't have that much stuff done for the month of January. If you're going to do, so my thought is I'm going to do startups and new QuickBooks users. That's going to be my specialty.
Now remember what our topic is today. Let's talk about how emails.
But those are the people the reason why is those are the people that need all that extra stuff. The social media, they need all that. It fits in, and I have 17 years worth of it.
So let me ask you a question because this is an interesting twist. I kind of get the sense that we're now talking a little bit about how social media training and email campaigns and things like that could actually become a service that you might want to offer?
No, I won't offer, but I will aim them in the direction of where they can get the help on that. I would invite them to join this hangout, okay? Yeah. I would invite them to sign up for the School of Bookkeeping, different things like that. Show them the free resources and show them the paid resources that are available to them.
Yeah, like for example, I don't market myself as a CRM expert or a project management expert or whatever, but I use those tools in my practice, and I can offer them some advice and give them. So I guess that adds to the value added, because I can speak from my experience as to the tools I use, but it's not something I market directly in my marketing.
Okay, so let's go back to our topic. So let's talk a little bit more about. So we talked a little bit about the pop-up. Let me give you some insight. Schoolbookkeeping.com uses the pop-up. In case you have been to our website, every 2 days you come back, it's going to pop up again too. And the reason why we do that is because almost 20 people a day now are signing up for our newsletter.
Right.
20 people. Now, if I convert 10% of those into paying customers, that's 2 more subscribers every single day.
Yeah, I saw.
And that means that Seth is going to get his boat, and I'm going to get my island sooner.
That's right.
So
let me say this about that, though. That's because you're a marketing company, and that's what you do.
Yep.
And Seth has paid you to do that. We are just ourselves trying to do marketing for ourselves. So we don't have all day to be playing the marketing game.
Agreed.
I want to be focused and only go for the people that are looking for what I have to offer, not just a shotgun kind of.
Absolutely perfect. So these are people that came to my website and said, spam me. I want to know what you're up to. I want your free content. I know when you say free content, tips, and course announcements that you're going to send me some, but you're also going to say, hey, buy this also. I know that. I know that. That's why I put my email address there. 20 a day, Gina. So let me just say this. If you got 2 a day, and you were sending out informational pieces that actually made me stop and think for a moment and say, wow, Gina's got it. She's good. I love working with her. You know what? I'm going to schedule another meeting with her because after she's done with X, Y, and Z, I need her to help me with this because she clearly has those answers. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the challenge is that when you're so busy, you don't have the time or the energy to be writing content.
Dennis, I posted in one of your colleagues this morning posted something about how I was Mariette. She posted how she's going to this webinar and she's going to our hangout. And she's doing. You read it, right? And I posted down below there and said, "Stop complaining. I work 14 hours a day, every day, all year long. You only have to do it for 4 months." So of course I'm kidding, but I'm not going to listen to the excuse that you're too busy because you've got to work on your company as well as work in it. Now, Gina, going back to what you said. You said you don't have time to do all the marketing. Well, guess what? I'm talking to you right now on a hangout, and while I'm doing that, I don't know if you hear the noise over there going beep, beep, but those are people signing up on my pop-up form. I'm not doing anything. It's doing all the work for me. That's my point. I'm trying to help you automate. Now, let me continue on with that. Automation. If you have recently signed up to our list, you've seen some very interesting emails coming from us over the course of about a 7-day period. The first one is a welcome, and it tells you all the great stuff that you can do to take advantage. And there's a little nudge at the bottom that says, hey, if you signed up for our free guest membership, cheapskate, here's how you upgrade, right? So, and if you don't, great, enjoy the guest membership. In about 3 days, another email follows automatically. And this one's a little bit pushier. It might prompt you and say, hey, are you enjoying what you're doing? Is it creating value for you? If so, here's a promotion for you. Then another one will show up maybe about a week or so later, maybe a month later, depending upon what it is, that'll say, Have you heard about our Hangouts? Have you heard about our live chat? And then another little mention at the bottom of signing up. And so we try not, there's a great book by Gary Vaynerchuk, who was on my radio show some time ago. Gary, if you're listening, you'll appreciate this. I will tweet this out to you later, my friend. So Gary wrote this awesome book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. Have you read it?
Jab, 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 right hook. Okay.
So here's what it means. If somebody signs up on my website for more information, and I start selling them immediately, I'm going to lose them. That's the right hook.
Right.
So instead, what I do is I throw some jabs. I provide them with lots of great information. I inform them about my services, and then later I might come in with the right hook and say, okay, now what do you think? Can I be of service to you? So now applying that to your profession, how would that work?
You know, I guess it depends on whether you're selling a service or product. And I'm gonna classify School of Bookkeeping as product because people can go there at any time. People can go there and use that product at any time. For us, it's all about us. We need to be involved with the people. We need to talk to the people. There's a whole lot more interaction than just emails going on and sending an email, are you interested? No, 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 maybe.
Okay, so let me take it to a different area. In my last company for 10 years, we were tech services, mobile tech services, and we amassed over 50,000 customers in that period. Through a variety of means, mostly from a radio show that we had on CBS and ABC, from advertisements such as that, radio ads on top of the show. But then eventually the goal was to get whoever was interested in our services, only provided services, to then come back to us and provide us with an email address so that we could keep them up to date on what we're doing and hopefully get them to book appointments when, in fact, the virus hit. So it's
Do
very
I need
similar.
50,000 clients? I don't want 50,000 clients. I want the number of clients that I can handle.
Well,
I have been in business for a little while, like Linda. I don't have the time to be onboarding 10 new clients a week.
and that's
It takes longer for me to do that than deal with the current clients that I have because they already have that trust in me.
so just humor me then. Let's just say you didn't say that, and what you really wanted to do, and what you really wanted to do was hire the thousands of people that you know in your network that can do what you do with you, so that you could build the next big. You'd be the big fifth, right, accounting firm. Let's just say that was your ambition.
But see, it's not, and that's the problem. I have to be your counter to this. I do not want to be the biggest, best, and boldest. I want to be the best that I can be.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me the numbers. I want to.
Was it fair to say that you joined this just because you love me and you really could care less about email campaigns?
No, that's not a fact, but I do love you anyway, Eric. I do love you, and you do have a lot of valuable information. I want it in smaller bits.
Yep. Okay.
That I can handle.
So
I guess you have to be on quality, rather than quantity, be on quality. So you have to really narrowly target your market rather than, to a niche that you are so conversant in, and you've got I've always said the best niches are a half an inch wide and a mile deep, in the sense of half an inch wide being barriers to entry and a mile deep is to plenty of demand. You don't want to be circling the drain with your clients when the niche gets in trouble, So you want to make sure there's plenty of, it has legs.
Well, then let's switch the focus here, because I don't really know how we got off in that direction, because I'm not trying to get you 50,000 customers, Gina, in any way, shape, or form. What I was kind of saying was, for your existing clientele,
Right.
how can you make 25% more money per year with the same clients. Let's use email campaigns to address that question. That's really where I think this is most appropriate for those. Some people are out there saying, no, Eric, don't switch gears. I want to know how to find 50 new clients. We're going to cover that also.
Well, then you need to get on the Hangout.
That's right. There's a lot of viewers. They're just not figuring out how to get on.
You know, in my market, in the state of Washington, it's a little bit different because we don't have an income tax. And so we have this god-awful B&O tax and sales tax. And so one thing I find with my clients is really confusion between IRS and the state.
Oh, yeah.
Really differentiate between the IRS and the state. It's all just taxes. And there's a lot of things in the state of Washington, especially with contractors, where you can get yourself in a heap of trouble real quick on the state of Washington if you're classifying them as contractors and not employees. For example, in the state of Washington, Al and I have got this 7-part test, and if you fail one little part, you can't be a contractor. And so a lot of clients haven't a clue. They think, well, you know, I'm paying them for a day's worth of labor. They're not an employee, you know. They're a contractor. And when in reality, that if they ever get the misfortune of getting audited, they could be in a world of hurt because, you know, so that's for my, you know, I guess in the off season, that's where I'll probably focus my attention is marketing to those clients, and also with this looming sales tax thing hanging over us, with that thing that's sort of slowly working its way through Congress, was it the Economic Fairness Act? That's going to be a real big issue if that thing ever passes, in terms of being responsible for collecting sales taxes.
Sounds like you've got 2 pieces of great content that you could focus on in your business.
Right.
That's a whole different discussion. And then taking that content and disseminating it properly to your clients and potential clients. And I have to stop for just a quick second, because something this is what happens when you have ADD, OCD, and all the rest of them combined into one, and you're a Virgo. It's interesting because, and I think the 3 of you that are on with me right now would agree, you have a certain set number of clients, and you work with them day in and day out. Sometimes they go up and down and what have you, but it's the same group. Yeah, you're all shaking your heads. Okay. Seth David, Nerd Enterprises, has some of that, but the majority of his business is flowing in daily from his YouTube videos. Very different business model.
Oh, right.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, and you know why?
To say.
Because if you think I have ADD, OCD, you know, I don't think that's the same client for year over year over year. He needs fresh blood. He loves the game constantly changing. And how do you think that happened? Do you think it's because he has such an inflow of new opportunities that he's just kind of gone that direction?
He doesn't sleep.
Neither do I. Well, mostly because he's calling me.
I sleep, and I actually do. That's why I like the startups and beginners, because usually you work with them 4 to 6 weeks, and then you get new startups and beginners. And you always go back to those other people, maybe 4 times a year, maybe just once a year. But they always have you come in to check everything. And I'm more like that I like new, fresh blood. It's more interesting. I go to different homes and offices.
Clearly, Linda, you could market yourself, you know, as the startup accounting guru.
Yeah.
People come to you, you know, do you do value pricing with that? It's like a set fee to get you off the ground kind of a thing?
Right.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so you could really benefit from this more, because as that brand establishes and people learn that that's what you're doing, they're going to flood into your site, fill out your contact form, and you're going to say, hey, this is what I offer, this is how it works, and if you don't respond to me after my 749th email, I'm going to remove you from my database. So there.
Well, the other thing that I do is I read voraciously. And so I read the paper. This is a workshop that's being held at, you can't read it, it's a workshop being held at Rancho Cucamonga City Hall about the different types of incorporations for people. So startups, a lot of times, that's one of the things they have no clue. and they don't realize there's all this free information out there if they'll spend 2 hours over at City Hall.
But free information is not what this world is about. We want information that we can trust. And I mean, you could go and find free information all over the web and not need schoolofbookkeeping.com. But you know what? We're going to take that free information, we're going to parse it, we're going to get the really good stuff, and we're going to make it better, and we're going to put it all in one place and make it easy for you to find.
Got it.
That's worth $24 a month, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
So first of all, I have to tell you.
Michelle Long just joined.
Oh, she'll love hearing that.
No, really, it was on Facebook yesterday.
Oh, I know. I outed her. We had a little private chat about that. She's awesome. So, okay, so Linda's the startup guru. Gina, you like a nice stable group of clients. What do you have any kind of a particular client that you do like, Gina, that you might use email to try to attract, or other tools?
Actually, I'm using email with my current clients, like you said, to remind them that I'm still here to bring in new business from them. So I do newsletters, but not as much as you do. I guess it depends. I want to go back to it. Depends on what you're looking for in your business model, how you handle this, and how you want to do it. So for my clients, I look at it as a benefit to my clients. I'm going to send them free tips and free information every couple weeks. And when they need my services, that just reminds them to give me a call, and new jobs come in that way. That's how I'm using it.
So you're nurturing what you have in existence, and that's awesome. And clearly, look, School of Bookkeeping is kind of like, if you're at Disneyland for a week, you want to get emails and text messages about what events are happening, where's Mickey, where's the discount food, whatever it is you want. You want to be bombarded with that kind of stuff. Well, my philosophy with School of Bookkeeping is, if you're paying that kind of money, I'm going to keep you up to date on everything we've got all the time, and you can ignore it, take it or leave it, whatever. Now, if my accountant, who I hope is not on here right now, if he started sending me emails like I send people emails about tax tips and things like that, they better be pretty darn good for me to enjoy them. And if they were, a cool synopsis of what I could pick up the Wall Street Journal and read, or out of the magazines and so on and so forth, I would actually appreciate that, because I'm going to tell you something right now. Again, going back to the ADD OCD thing, we all have it. It's contagious because we're on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and Hangouts and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, we can't keep straight all of these different things. Where, Linda, you said you used to pick up the newspaper and get all your news. Well, I'm sorry, we don't get our news that way anymore completely. We get it.
No, this is good local.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be really cool if my financial advisor sent me a daily financial update, all the hot stuff that I need to know, so I don't have to go look for it.
Short.
Exactly. My tax consultant or my accountant sent me stuff that needs to be read for the day related to that. I would like my son's basketball coach to send me links to the cool sports things, and so on and so forth. And then I don't ever have to use Facebook again, which is my dream, right? You believe that, don't you, Gina?
Yes, I do.
All right. So
I like your shirt, too, off subject. I like your MailChimp.
So MailChimp is my favorite. I won't lie. I use Aweber, iContact, and MadMimi also, but I like MailChimp. They're just really slick in terms of their design, and it's really easy to use. But let me talk about that also. So, Gina, I'm going to address what you had said. So one of the greatest features that's often not used properly by typical end users, usually marketing pros will deal with it, is the automation features within an email campaign system. And that's a great thing, because while you do need to update them from time to time, just the topic of what you said earlier, Gina, just a reminder of, hey, it's me, and the likelihood of them calling you again and booking some time or getting a jump on their taxes, maybe doing them early and not filing an extension like myself, and making your life a little bit better would be a benefit to you. So that's really where I think the email campaign tool would be great for you. And then the other really cool feature, and this is something that you don't hear a lot about when people talk about email campaigns, is the replicate button. It's a simple little thing. You know, you go into an email that you sent, you hit replicate, and you know, parts of it you're going to keep, the framework you're going to keep, and you just fill in the blanks. So I can take an email that I sent from School of Bookkeeping about the latest Too Legit to Audit posts from our blog, take the same container, copy and paste the new post in there, and send it within about 2 minutes. So once you learn how to do that and you get efficient, then all of a sudden you do have time to do marketing. So anyhow, that's that. And I'd be more than happy to demonstrate some of that type of stuff, but not today.
Got it. Why not today?
I agree with you 100%. I agree that the more that you can get automated, the better. I do use that replicating, and I do schedule my emails going out.
Are you a MailChimp user?
Constant Contact.
It does basically the same thing. You know, there's 6 one half dozen the other to some. MailChimp's a little hipper. I like the way the MailChimp features integrate better with some of the WordPress tools and so on and so forth.
Okay.
I don't want to call it WordPerfect versus Microsoft Word, because then I would be saying that MailChimp is going away from the hip direction, because Word kind of has.
Right.
Although, are you guys using the latest and greatest Microsoft Office? Or do you just stay back?
The cloud? I'm thinking about it.
It's
2010?
2013. So they've actually, in Office.
I don't have 2013.
Office 365, which you can do for a monthly subscription.
Yeah, I don't want to do that one.
You know what? Honestly, they've actually simplified the nonsense.
Really?
Yeah, I like it better. And I will tell you this much: Windows 10, I'm not sure I can say this publicly, but I'm going to. Okay, here it goes. Seth David, this is for you.
Beta user.
I love it.
Good.
Good. Oh, good. Good.
I'm waiting for it to come out so I can get a new laptop.
Me too. I'm doing the same for a computer. I just do not. I can't handle Windows 8.
Yeah, Microsoft kind of comes out good, bad.
Go ahead, Dennis. I'm sorry.
Then Microsoft comes out like with their versions like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You know.
Well, they came out with good and then bad, bad, bad for a while, and
like this Vista, which was really bad. Then they had Windows 7.
Oh God, Vista was a killer.
Was fairly good. Now they came out with 8, which was, I guess, bad. Now they're coming out with 10, which is supposedly good.
So what they did, so everybody understands it, is Microsoft basically tried to make this platform-independent single operating system with the tiles, and you know, our start menu was gone, and then all of a sudden it was back, but it wasn't working the way it used to. And so what they've done is they've combined everything into the start menu now. All those tiles are actually in the start menu. So when you hit start, you get your applications, but you also get the tiles, and you can manipulate them how you want. So you still get Windows Phone and Windows Surface devices to share the same types of operating systems. Not that anybody's going to ever use Windows Phone, but the Surface is very popular.
I live about 20 miles from Microsoft, and I've actually done beta testing over there. And what I perceive their problem to be is they're still living in the late 90s, where they used to be able to cram down people's throats any operating system changes, and now people are more resistant because you have other options with Google and all that, so they can't just dictate the market like they used to be able to.
Well, and then there's this other little fruit company that came out of nowhere again, and all of a sudden, and while we don't want to necessarily admit to this, more consumers and small businesses are using Macs today than ever before. When I was in the industry, it was 92% Windows, 8% Mac. So, you know, there were plenty of viruses to fix constantly. You know, every single call I get about malware and virus, including my girlfriend just the other day in the living room, is malware on Windows. You know, my Mac, it just doesn't happen.
I think they have like weekly bug fixes. Microsoft does. I think that
they do, and they've actually consolidated that a bit. But so the thing that I think you're going to like though is that they've kind of simplified the whole concept and brought it back to what we're more used to when Windows 95 kind of changed the paradigm, but still gives us state-of-the-art features. And I have to tell you, it's not easy to please me on the Windows side because I've left it some time ago. And I was a huge, I started my career at IBM. I was part of the OS2 2.0 launch team. What an embarrassing thing to say. So anyhow, so I think you guys will like it, and I think the Office 365, with the exception of Outlook, which I can't stand, but I think you're going to enjoy, for your purposes, Excel. I think they've done a good job with kind of cleaning up the toolbar and just kind of bringing it back and making sure all the features are there, but not clogging the vision with, it was just overwhelming for a while.
Excel 365 have the same functionality or the same robustness as the desktop? I know, for example, I don't know if they have like Power Pivot in Excel 365.
So let me explain to you what that means. A lot of people are confused that Creative Cloud from Adobe and Office 365 are cloud-based applications. They are not alone. What they really are is a monthly subscription to get the desktop applications. But those desktop applications, just like you're used to, you get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. All of those desktop applications you load onto your systems, but then you also have access via the cloud. In my world,
I didn't know that.
I use Apple Keynote instead of PowerPoint. Well, Seth David and Chris Palumbo, my two colleagues, can log into iCloud via the web and access our Keynote presentations. We can work on them live. I can work on the app. Chris can work on his iPad, and Seth can work on his Windows machine on the exact same file at the same time. So when you get into this crazy discussion about how the cloud is so disruptive, when you see that stuff in action, when you pick up the phone and say, hey, Chris, I don't want to use PowerPoint. I'm using Keynote. Can you go buy a Mac? And he says, no. And then you send him a link to iCloud with a shared, whatever, to the file, and he says, oh, my goodness, it's working perfectly. I'm running an app from Apple on my Windows device. So translate that back to the whole Office 365. It allows you to do the sharing across with the cloud storage being the one thing that
you're saying that Office 365 is not SaaS but more like hosted?
It's not it's basically, see, this is why people get confused. You're just paying a subscription to get the apps for 80% of what you're paying for. 80% of it is you get Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, whatever else on your computer. But they also get cloud storage and the ability to share across devices. So if you have a Windows Surface device, it'll be able to share because it shares the same operating system. If you have a Windows Phone, the same thing. And then the OneDrive is basically the mechanism that holds the data that Office 365 apps or web apps. So you know how you have Outlook Web Access? Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically Outlook on an internet browser. Well, that can work concurrently with Outlook on your desktop. Office 365 expands that functionality to all the apps.
So, for example, say you have a computer that doesn't have Office 365 on it, and you go to the browser, you cannot access the programs up in the browser. They have to be downloaded to your desktop or your portable?
Let me understand. So you're saying if you don't have the subscription...
Right. Well, for example...
You still can, because everybody has the cloud functionality. You have limited OneDrive support, like you do with Dropbox, until you pay a fee to fully take advantage of it.
Well, let's say, for example, I think you get like 5 subscriptions for like the $10 a month, something like that. It was, I mean, something like that. Anyway, so for example, I'm on computer 1, but I haven't really downloaded the apps to computer 2. Do I have to download the apps to computer 2 so I can...
I mean, look, I'm going to tell you right now, whether they tell you you should or you shouldn't, or you can and you can't, I'm going to tell you straight to your face you need to, because even though Keynote, the Apple side of this, the PowerPoint for Apple, is remarkably robust in iCloud, I'm only going to do that if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And probably forever. I mean, I don't even use email in a web browser. I like an app for those types of features. Imagine doing Photoshop. Well, actually, it's interesting because WordPress contradicts everything I'm saying. WordPress is 100% webified, and it works really well. But if there was a WordPress app that had twice the functionality, would we use it? Probably. So yes, you're probably still going to download all the Microsoft Office applications like you once did. In fact, you're going to, period.
But you're just paying subscription as opposed to buying a.
You know, at $10 a month, nobody pays attention versus it's $300 to get Microsoft Office. I mean, that was really more of their spin.
It's actually cheaper, I think, to do the subscription. I think you get more.
You're always current, and you get all the other benefits. You know what else you get with Office 365, and I'm not sure which level this is, but you also get full hosted Exchange, which would replace Google Apps for Work or iCloud Mail, but having the full functionality of an Exchange server hosted in a Microsoft environment native to Outlook, because quite frankly, the only way Outlook really works well is when it's connected to Exchange. As soon as you bring in a Google Gmail account or iCloud or anything like that, Yahoo, the whole thing goes nuts, and nobody can find their contacts.
Yeah, I don't use Outlook anymore.
And that's why. I mean, in my old business, and every one we've ever run, we always had Exchange servers. You know, today you can get an Exchange server in the cloud, or you can have it yourself within your Office 365.
I always found out to be the buggiest of the Microsoft products. I mean, it just seems like there's always something breaking, you know.
Isn't that just kind of all? I mean, I'm going to say that Apple stuff's pretty robust, but of course today Forbes has this ugly article about how 8.1.3 came out, and last night, literally it came out last night, I saw it pop up on my phone, and people are freaking out because it didn't solve the world's problems. And I mean, it solved some problems, but I'm not freaking out. My phone's working great. Yesterday I had no internet access, and if it weren't for my phone, I wouldn't have been able to work.
Yeah.
Very.
Had that happen.
So email campaigns, I think we've solved some of the problems for how accountants would use them. Linda is going to amass 50,000 new startups. Gina is going to figure out a way to get more business out of her existing clients and find a couple new clients. And Dennis, he's just going to tell the world all this ridiculously intelligent stuff that I can hardly follow. And then just become a rock star, and then he'll just get paid to keynote all the time and not have to do anything else.
Actually, I've been in Toastmasters for 25 years or 26 years, so I've been.
There you go.
Some public speaking occasionally.
That's awesome.
It's always kind of bad when the audience is yawning when you're giving your accounting spiel. It's like, I think I lost their attention somewhere, but.
The way I always got attention. I used to speak at USC a lot, and that was a pretty fresh group. But they're on their phones texting with their girlfriend and their French fries. So you have to just drop a dirty word from time to time, and all of a sudden you get their attention. And when that doesn't work, you stand up on the desk and do the whole carpe diem thing.
Or Robin Williams, yeah, I like that scene.
That tends to work really well. Any other questions that I can address related to email campaigns or the different products, maybe?
Well, I mean, I have a question. Like, you go to a business, like a Chamber of Commerce, you get business cards. Do you ask permission for that to put them on your mailing list, or you just assume permission? I tend to ask.
You know what, Dennis? I think I'm going to hit the stop broadcast, and then I'll call you and give you the answer to that question. Does that answer it for you? I mean, here's the way it works. As long as you are legal in terms of having your unsubscribe and you follow the the Spam Act and what have you, adding somebody that is interested in your business to your email list is not illegal in our country if you're doing business with them or engaging with them in some way, shape, or form. But the safe way to do that, and particularly in your industry, I recommend this, is a double opt-in. So what will happen is when you add them to the account, you send out an email to them and say, hey, I met you at XYZ. I'm going to send you some emails, but not until you say it's okay. They click yes or no, and then off you go.
Okay.
That's the appropriate way to handle that. Now, AWeber, interestingly enough, does that by default. It's the only one I know of that when you add your contacts, it starts sending out confirmations and opt-ins for everybody you add to the list. MailChimp, it asks you if you want to do that, but it doesn't force you to. iContact's pretty wide open, and there's a couple of others I won't mention that pretty much aren't paying attention. And that's usually why we get those awful spam messages. that we often get. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I get plenty of spam that I read. Some of it's useful. You know, I download things and get cool information every once in a while. And I used to have a policy in my old company that, you know, I got hammered with phone calls all the time. If somebody was calling and soliciting me, I'd take every 5th call. Because you never know. You might meet somebody interesting. You might learn something new. Why not? Take 10 minutes out of your day. That was my philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this question. Do you know how to unsubscribe from an email?
Yes.
Down at the bottom.
Always. Where is it?
Button at the bottom.
Little button at the bottom that says unsubscribe or update my subscription preferences or something like that, right?
Oh, no. What you do is you hit the thing that says spam.
Ah, that's in your Gmail. Yeah, don't do that to me, please. Seth will Seth will end up in a Volkswagen rather than a Tesla. Please don't do that to me.
What they call is it whitelisting or blacklisting? I think it's whitelisting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it can't happen. Did you read what I posted on Albo yesterday? One of our people on our list, she sent me a private message on Facebook. She said, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know you were part of Abo and this and that and so on and so forth. I told you never to email me again from schoolofbookkeeping.com. Please add me back." That was so cool. I asked her, I said, "Can I post that on Abo right now? I won't mention your name." And she said, "Sure, why not?" So we had a good laugh about it. So Seth David, he actually created a wonderful video. It's only about 30 seconds on how to unsubscribe. And I can direct you to our YouTube channel to get that.
Got it.
You're more or less at right now. And I will post it in the comments for you. It's very important that you watch this video. It's wildly, wildly useful. It's basically Seth going click. So we have a couple of interesting responses to emails from people, but clearly they're not happy with their lives. It's just not worth it to me. So, all right. So what have we covered? We've covered pop-ups. We've covered automation. We've covered how to use for different businesses. Anything else that I can...
When you say your YouTube channel, I think you guys have 3 or 4. Which YouTube channel are you talking about?
So when you're talking to me...
Yes.
99.8.5.6% of the time, I will be referring to School of Bookkeeping's channel.
Got it. SOB. Got it.
Yes, Seth. So I just want to tell you that I had a real problem with SOB as an acronym for a long time. And I have tried to escape it.
It's cute.
And it's the students that have made it stick because that's what they email us. They say, "Hey, SOB."
Yeah, it worked.
You can't escape it anymore. I mean, it is what it is. Here, let me find you that video.
Created its own life.
Yeah, that's what tends to happen. You know what? He might have put that. Where did he put that?
I know in Seattle they get this sports radio show, and they get this one segment called "Answer the Question Jerk," and they got John McEnroe's voice yelling "Answer the Question Jerk," and so every time they get a call, it's like, "Hey, jerks," you know.
Yep. That's he might have put this on the other on Nerd Enterprises. Let's see.
Well, off topic and talking about Mac, I was dealing with a Mac client this morning, and they told me that they're now using iCloud Drive for their backup and love it.
So let me just make something clear that iCloud Drive as a backup?
That's what he said.
How?
Well, since I'm not really proficient in Mac, and he is, I just took that snippet of information.
So that's peculiar, maybe for a couple of files, because I mean you can drag your QB files and whatever into iCloud Drive. The problem with iCloud Drive right now is it doesn't allow you to create folders and sort yet. It's all coming. They announced it because they had to, and it solved this massive problem with iPhone photos.
Okay.
It's still, you can't go. You see iCloud Drive and Finder, but you can't go in and organize it. You have to go to iCloud.com still, and even then, you can't nest folders inside of folders. You can drag and drop one document on another and create a folder, but then you can't create another folder inside that, which is frustrating. I believe it's all coming.
How secure is it? I mean, didn't they get hacked this summer?
So you want to talk backup for a minute? You want to hear my backup? You can actually literally hear my backup because it's running constantly. I've got one over there, I've got one over there, and I've got one right down here. So here's what I do. On the Apple, it's a little bit different. We have a thing called Time Machine, and we use time capsules, which are actually Wi-Fi units with a hard drive built in them, so they dual purpose. So I have Jacob and Jackson, my two sons, also my time capsules, that are constantly backing up all day long through Time Capsule. In addition to that, I use Carbon Copy Cloner, which is like Xcopy in DOS on Windows, which literally replicates my hard drive to a USB connected 3 terabyte drive that was about $90. In the case that I need to get a particular file, and what it does is it basically just replaces anything that needs to be updated and removes anything that's been deleted. 3 backups, nothing off-site. I'm not there.
Is it a fire or a flood or an earthquake or?
I'm going to tell you right now, when the fire, and we get plenty of those here in Santa Barbara, when the fire came, I grabbed my laptop, I grabbed one of my backup drives, and I ran. And then I came back and got the dog.
Oh, poor dog. He should have been first.
I'm kidding. Only because he slept through it all. But so the truth is you have everything you need on your laptop if you use a laptop. You have everything you need on your local backup drive. It's probably not a bad idea to have one more, or at least take one of mine and put it off-site every week or something like that. I don't do that, and I should. But I will tell you this: there's something about putting all of my data in the cloud that concerns me. So I do use Dropbox. And I do use iCloud for photos and my keynotes and what have you. But at the end of the day, certain data I will not put up there.
About Smart Vault, that's what I use for tax returns. I figured that's got industrial strength
Say that a couple more times. Say Smart Vault 2 more times for me.
Well, you're going to reach through the computer and...
No, I want them on School of Bookkeeping.
Oh, Smart.
So bad. I love that tool. That is something that I would consider.
That's what I do. Is that I have, you get the QuickBooks ProAdvisors, like $30 a month for 100 gigs, or $35 a month, and so that's where I'll store like my tax returns, because that's really got confidential information. I won't put that stuff in Dropbox or G Drive.
Now, do you keep a local copy also, though?
Well, what I've been doing on my hard drive, McAfee has this software called Vault, and it encrypts a portion of it. You can encrypt a portion of your hard drive.
Right.
And so that's what I'll do. And for example, if I don't have it opened, when I go to open it up on like a QuickBooks file on my hard drive, I'll put it in one of the vaults. And if I don't have that vault open, then it won't be able to find the file. So I have to go in, go to my computer and click on one of the vaults, and then put in my password. So that's the way I've been kind of finessing. I don't really feel comfortable putting, confidential information by like Social Security numbers just on my hard drive, even though I've got a firewall. I put the extra step of security of putting it in an encrypted portion of the hard drive. The downside is that if I've had sometimes where the vault becomes corrupted, then you're kind of screwed, glued, and tattooed. It's like you have to. That's why I put it up in Smart Vault too. So.
So you have files kind of scattered. I mean, I see the nice thing about Dropbox and iCloud and Box and Google Drive, for that matter, now finally, is that they're syncing locally up in the cloud, and what's syncing locally is then getting backed up in your backup. So you have 3 copies that way, and I couldn't imagine it any other way. It concerns me not to have 100% of everything I own on one device. That's just the way it is. I don't mind having replicated pieces of it in other places, but I have to have it all in one place.
Well, I use Smart Vault for stuff that really needs security, and then I use like Google Drive. What I'll do is I'll record videos or webcasts, and then I'll upload it to my G Drive so I can watch it on my cell phone or on my tablet.
And I get that. Well, here's a really fascinating topic, and I can't go into too much detail with it, but we were just up at Intuit. Let me ask you this question. Do you believe that it would be better if QBO, using an app, local app that had all the features of QBO online, but an app, or not, but wouldn't it be amazing, and this is just my opinion, if all the data from your QBO file was local and was syncing to the cloud? And if you lost your connection, you can get on an airplane, finish your work, sync it back up when you get to the hotel, and you're back up and running like you never disconnected.
That would be called QBox.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what QBox does, and that's exactly what Dropbox does in a different sense. By the way, can you say QBox 2 more times, please? And send them an email and tweet them and say, Eric Greenspan, Seth David, and schoolofbookkeeping.com love you.
Well, no, because I'm going to say Gina loves you. Come see me.
No, I need to say that when I retweet it, Gina. Come on, get with the program now.
I'm sorry.
The president of QuickBooks is in Seth's Hangout. You know,
Sorry, I coughed through that, Dennis.
I said the president of QuickBooks has been on Seth's Hangout and on Gina's Hangout. So.
Oh yeah, we're talking to him. It's just a matter of them, coming to terms on all of it. Okay, well, hey, listen, it's 10 o'clock, and I got a little boy who is really quiet today. Isn't that awesome? Jackson, you're very well behaved. And so I figured for sure we'd see him come and jump up in my lap. Hey, listen, guys, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to have a really cool topic next week as well. I have absolutely no idea what it's going to be yet, but it'll be great, I promise. I love all of you for coming. I appreciate it. I'm Eric Greenspan, schoolofbookkeeping.com. This is our Thursday morning hangout, and at noon today, Pacific time, I will be hosting our live answers chat where we can talk more about just about anything you want with accounting practice marketing. And if a couple of intelligent accountants show up that want to help answer those folks that show up and ask questions about accounting, because they always do, that wouldn't be a problem either. It's open to everybody. And don't forget to show up tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for Seth David's morning hangout.
Okay.
Very good.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.